So yeah, welcome everyone. Um, Today we'll be having Kevin Tuei to give us a discussion on generative AI meeting real world problem solving. And Kevin is a friend of mine. We met, in the process of creating this bootcamp. He has really helped us with, getting a lot of people from Kenya. I believe almost everyone from Kenya knows Kelvin. Yeah, he's that big. He's a certified cloud developer and also a cloud educator, and is the lead for the AWS community in Kenya, the ML AI AWS community in Kenya. And yeah, I'll allow him to. He's a great man. Oh, if you check his LinkedIn, he's not a small boy. You know that it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have this type of person. I'm so happy to have him. Kevin is an amazing person, and yeah, Kevin, I would allow you to kick things off. So let's go.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Kaji.
Yeah.
You know how to
All
introduce
right.
someone.
You're a great
Appreciate it.
man, man. You're a great
Thank you
man.
so much.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
definitely, it's because of amazing people like you that I become great. Because trust me, it's all that actually happens when you look at things in the context of it. Again, definitely because time is far much spent, and Ifenya has done an amazing job in introducing myself. I will not I'll not take too much time in terms of spending it in talking about myself, because it's a discussion, so it's going to be all about us. And as we were actually thinking about how you're going to bring out this discussion and make it as interactive as possible, I thought, how best can I put this out? So we have this thing called augment this. That is, it has become one of the most important things that you can think about. Look at this way. Just uh, just look at this way. I was having a discussion with some people early in the morning, and we did an experiment on one of the popular LLMs. And one experiment we did is we we first of all disabled search, and we disabled any form, like we wanted this to just use the training data and ask a very simple factual question. And then we turned on search and we asked the same factual question. And there are two different answers. That means that RAG is changing things, and you're going to know what RAG is all about. In certain contexts, if you're trying to understand, don't worry about the terminology in itself, but you're going to see how as we're going to do this, because these are whole RAG boot camp, we're going to see how can we look at the power and again the limits of RAG in the real world. Because if you look at it that way, yeah. Okay. So just to note, in terms of how we're going to be engaging, we want you to be fully present here. It doesn't make any sense for you to join in this session and then you try to double task. It's a discussion, and we actually want, it's not a presentation from me, as I mentioned earlier. And I'm going to be prompting you a lot in terms of getting your feedback. So I really do hope all the 36 of us are ready to make this an amazing discussion where we are going to exchange ideas and knowledge. Again, you should stay muted if you're not speaking, and be respectful in terms of the opinions that you provide, as well as be respectful towards others. Okay, let's move on to things. So we're going to have a very small check-in just to test how interactive you guys are. We're going to be having a number of factual statements, like the one that I told you I did early in the day. And you're going to see how good you are at spotting whether an AI has hallucinated or not, right? You're going to see how that happens. Okay, so definitely you're going to be interacting. Thank you, Fanny, for that. Okay, first of all is I'm going to be sharing the Slido link. Oh, sorry, share the Zoom link. Let me see. It's here, yes. Okay. So click on the Slido link that I've just shared with you. And definitely you'll need this. Maybe some of you, if you can click on the link. Let me see if I can go to the next slide. Yeah, if you can't click on the link, you can just hop onto slido.com and enter those hash. And on the hash, don't include the hash, just enter 1058602, and the passcode is NSKRAG. I'd be checking on who has joined. Let me see if I can just hide my meeting controls just a bit. Okay, yes. Once you join, you can come back on the chat and let us know. Just put a done or joined or something. It would really help us to know that you've actually joined. We're going to be using this same link or this same platform for the rest of the discussion. And we can't wait to see how things pan out. Yeah, the passcode is NSKRAG, 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 NSK. Thank you, Leon. Okay. Thank you, Iman.
Kevin, is
Yes.
what to do?
Yes, pardon? You want me to provide the link again? There it is.
Yeah,
The link is
so
over there. Yeah.
so I was a number, number
I don't know whether it's me or is it me or I'm breaking? Am I breaking or I'm good? Because I'm hearing someone breaking. Okay, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's Okalo is breaking. Sometimes you have to first of all think it's you, then then before you think about the other person. Thank you. So if you have joined, let's get it on with. Others will join along the way. Thank you. Okay. So I can see, yeah. Have you joined? You can join the quiz. I should be able to see it as the next screen. I can see, thank you, Abimelech, David, Bisola, Michael, Mola, Chala. Okay, I can see you guys joining in. Love this, love this. You're going to have I can see you're going to be having an amazing discussion session today. And regardless of where you are with drag, don't worry, you're going to have fun with this. Just join in. Don't be the party crasher or the person who just joined to see others enjoy the party, you know. Yeah, thank you. Can see all of you joining. Okay. Oh yeah, I should paste the link again. Okay, sure. Yeah, the link. Here's the link. Also on the side, you'll still see the joining details. You still see on the left side of your screen, the joining details are still all there. Okay, let's get right onto it. Let me get it. We are around 40 of us, so let's get it to 30, then we can get started. I hope you're joining. For those, I've already shared the link in the in the in the Zoom chat. Also, they're there on the left side if you want to scan. Maybe if you have two devices, it would be awesome, where you can still see the screen share as well as also leverage on your phone. I want to capture your phone so that you don't use it to go on TikTok or something. Anyways, I'm just joking. Okay. Thank you. We got an 30. Thank you so much. Now let's and even more. Okay, let's get on to the next one. So you have 15 seconds. to answer that. And it's already counting. Kenya was the first African country to use drone-based AI for crop disease detection. AI tells you that. Is it true? Is it hallucination? Okay, at least you've gotten the gist of it. So I can see a number. We can see it's kind of balanced. So it means that a good number of us, okay, from the 15 who actually did answer this within the 15 seconds, don't worry, you're going to have another one. 47% of you are saying it's true. 53% are saying it's hallucination. Let's know who is saying the truth. So it's true. The 53% of you of the 15% who are saying it's hallucination. No, actually it is, you can go check it out. That is the actual truth. The first African country to use drone-based AI for crop disease detection was Kenya. Let's go to the next one. Again, okay, I can see myself there. Don't worry about number one there. That was me doing the test earlier, just doing the test. So Fanny is not the one who is number one, and David, Kibe, and then we have Richard, and then we have also One Term as the top five. Okay, is it true or hallucination? ChatGPT has access to the live internet through a built-in web browser. True or hallucination? Okay, I can see this time a good number of us, 30 of us actually submitted. 70% are saying true, 30% of you are saying hallucination. Okay, let's see who was saying the truth. The truth is it's hallucination. Why? Because ChatGPT doesn't use a built-in web browser. It actually has search tools inside it so that you can do the search, but it doesn't like use browsers like we do as human beings. So you guys, 70% of you are caught flat-footed on that one. Okay, let's proceed. As we have like three more, just three more. So you can see David, it thinks you've taken over. Number 2 is One Term. 4 is Sharon, and Blossom has also come up. Okay, good. Okay, let's go. In 2023, an AI system helped translate over 1 million words into AC Zulu for government services. True or hallucination? If you give these and you think, if an AI gave you that, will you say that is true or is it an hallucination from the AI? You can see 72% of you are saying it's true, 20% are saying hallucination. Let's see. Yes, at least finally you're getting the gist of it, but it's not that they're alternating. But yes, a good number of you are saying this is true, and that is the actual case that there is an AI system that has been developed to do translation. And I'm going to show you live. I think I actually checked a certain platform that has it. It's called, I think, africanlanguages.com, African Languages Lab. Okay, we have Sharon at the top, then we have One Term, and then Charla and Blossom. Don't worry about the Sheiks. Sheiks was me early in the day testing these out. Okay, in 15 seconds, OpenAI's model natively support over 120 African languages. True or hallucination? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Okay. You can see a good number of you are saying hallucination, but then again, it's kind of a bit balanced. 42% are saying true. So let's see what we have here. Okay, let me just first of all do this. I think I can just close then. Yep. So actually, the truth is OpenAI isn't that good with African languages, and it cannot even get to 120. I don't know how many you've ever seen, but not that good. That is in terms of their models. Okay. Currently it's Fanny, David, and Chala, then Sharon, then One Term as the top 5. Final question, if I'm not wrong, RAG systems can reduce AI hallucination by up to 70%. If an AI tells you that, will you take it as true or will you take it as hallucination? Okay. 91% of you saying true and 9% said hallucination. Okay. Yes. Actually, if you follow the intuition, and this being a RAG event, definitely, if you follow the intuition, you could, even if you didn't get that out, you'll definitely say that is actually true. And that is the truth, that if you have a RAG system within an AI supporting a model, then definitely the hallucinations are much, much lower. Okay. So let's proceed. Fanny, Ali, I can see you get number 2 is Chala, then Sharon. And yeah, just to make this a little fun, if any of the top 3 is from Kenya, I'll send you airtime. I don't know how I can do it for anyone who's not from Kenya. I don't know how I can do airtime for you, but definitely do reach out to me after the session. That was nice. Okay, let's get right onto it. Hope you love that. Again, don't get away from your slide, though you're going to need it because this is a discussion, not really a presentation. But let's get to understand, because some of you, the first time I ever heard about RAG in AI, I was like, now what have we, is the data so dirty that now we now need RAGs to clean up the data? What is this all about? But I later on came to realize that it's just a fancy way of saying giving an AI model, or for example, you remember when we did back then, for those who are the millennials, when you used to go and do exams, you'd have like this log table that is given to you so that you can easily use it to reference. And even some of us who are privileged, like we had like our parents would buy us the standard one, or the one that would help us increase our chances of passing that exam. But then again, the question comes in and you don't even know which page of that logarithm table you're going to open and reference, and how are you going to make sure that they align. I know times have changed, and I don't think people go with logarithm tables into exams. But you can think about that as a real life example of how RAG would be in terms of looking at things. So what RAG is, I'll just you can see the diagram on the side, on the left side. I don't know if it's on the left side for you or the right side, but on my left side. And I'll use the numbers there. So for example, the first thing in number 1 is a user, you or I or anyone sends out a query through an front-end interface, and they ask a question. For example, like they ask, who is the current president of the Law Society, or maybe the African Union, for example. Then that question has to be transformed into embeddings, which are mathematical representations that the AI can understand and now send to the vector database. But before a response is sent, you can see something happen in A, B, C, D in the letters. First of all, there's data that is coming from different data sources. It can be in PDFs, it can be in videos, it can be on many different things. For example, when an LLM does maybe a web search, then once that information is gotten, there is extraction of information from the raw data sources. Then it is chunked. There's chunking that is happening just after B, and then it is transformed into an embedding that definitely can be leveraged by AI in terms of setting it up and put into a vector database. And as you can see now, instead of just providing the data from, the response through what the LLM has been trained on, then these relevant data is augmented, or it is conjoined together with what the LLM understands, and then it provides a response. that is what Retrieval Augmented Generation is all about. And credits to gravityflow.com for that particular amazing image. So you can see what it does. It helps in LLMs looking to be more in terms of relying on external knowledge to reduce hallucination, then improved trust, because definitely with better citation and you can verify the information sources it has used, then you can trust the responses that the AI is giving you even more. And in terms of where, because you're talking about Gen AI for the real world, you're talking about RAG for the real world. And one thing is it can help in terms of legal assistance, referencing case laws. So if they're looking at many different case laws and trying to look for maybe something like jurisprudence or maybe some any kind of correspondence before they come up with a case response, then legal assistants can leverage this. When it comes to these are, when I talk about legal assistants, I'm not talking about human beings. I'm talking about legal AI assistants. Then I talk about healthcare chatbots. They help in retrieving different updated guidelines. Today, we might be able to be told that these are the guidelines for a particular country or in the whole of Africa, or there was a time, I think even Rwanda, there was some healthcare guidelines a while, I think early in the year. Definitely, these chatbots can easily provide an answer regarding all these new guidelines thanks to Retrieval Augmented Generation. Then the third one is enterprise tools. Definitely, they're accessing the proprietary databases. Maybe an AI or an LLM has been integrated with an ERP system or a CRM or a knowledge-based system or a decision support system in the organization, then that is when also Retrieval Augmented Generation plays a huge part for all. Okay, now let's get on to our first question, if I'm not wrong. So kindly go to Slido, still same link, and I'd like to see your answers onto this. You're going to leverage what you're sharing, and you're going to have some of you even come off mute and let's have a discussion on this. And we've talked about healthcare, we've talked about case laws in the legal profession, and we've also talked about the enterprise scenarios. But according to you, and please do join in because I can see some, I don't know if some of you have joined in. Please, you can go back to the slide. Okay, I don't know. Okay, just to confirm, I'm audible, right? I hope, sure, yeah. So kindly don't annotate my screen. Let me see if I can just. Yep, I've just disabled the annotation. Okay, I'll just close it. Okay, I can see a number of responses coming through. So Samar, you're saying in cybersecurity compliance gap assessment, RAG can be definitely helpful. We already know when cybersecurity, there are different standards, there are different things around how you can be able to see how far or how near is an organization towards complying with particular cybersecurity frameworks or standards. Again, I can see, yes, Omwenga research work. I particularly applaud Perplexity because they're very good in terms of having their LLM aligned towards research. I can see Cloud is also there doing the same kind of thing. Mostly different LLMs didn't have a research like strength. They didn't have that research strength more often than not. But then again, things have really changed over time. Product support, brand, definitely. I don't know how much about. There's a time I did a product management course, and I know definitely, for example, when it comes to different products, there are always new products coming into the market, and you can just avail the product documentation to and maybe an LLM or an AI chatbot, and it can easily answer questions and help a user to that. Domain specific information, maybe Samsung, if you can be very specific, it'd be awesome. Let me see if I can check some others. Adele is saying up-to-date information. Yes, when very much needed. For example, that what I was doing in the morning, I was testing a factual information about something that happened last, I think just recently, just at the end of last year in Kenya. And when I turned off search, it gave me the wrong answer. It didn't give me the most accurate one. But when I turned on search and it did a bit of search, it was able to be much more accurate when it comes to that. Yes, when we want really different domain-specific knowledge, financial documents, and even when you need to access private internal data in a very secure way, RAG plays an important role. And it's, yes, as you said, when you have verifiable answers and when AI is giving you an answer, then it's telling you can check this particular source to confirm whether what I'm saying is aligned to what is there and whether what is there is good. But there's a time I think I had a problem. I don't remember with that, with which particular platform. The platform would even hallucinate on the RAG. It would actually provide fictitious links. When you click on that link, and it is part of the reference, when you go to that particular website, it says document not found or 404 error. So it actually manufactured a citation. But as I think over time, it has been much better. Yes, grounding responses to real documents, very important. And then in large data analysis, any sports league providing real-time accurate responses when retrieving the latest, definitely. We already know it's August. So we've been waiting for the sports leagues to come back, and they're coming back this month. And I don't know, even in terms of AI is still also playing a huge part in this particular space. I'm much of a football fan, but I'll not start mentioning my team. Otherwise, I'll start jinxing it even before the league starts. Okay, healthcare, yes, healthcare a lot in terms of helping doctors leverage a lot, and yes, chatbots. I recently implemented a chatbot for a particular organization, and we availed. It was an ed tech, and they were having a different programs, and they were really impressed that the chatbot had very specific knowledge about that organization, far much better than even a typical customer support agent. And that is the power of retrieval augmented generation. Thank you so much. These are very awesome things. I don't know whether there's anyone, you can raise your hand if you want to add some context live on audio. It would also be great. As you do that, I'll move on to something else, and feel free to raise your hand if you want to add some voice to this. I don't want you to be bored with only my voice. Yeah, definitely. We already say RAG does not equal to magic. Yes, it can have that wow factor. It can bring that moment of what realization, and saying you're making someone really think that this is the all in all. But anything that has some good things, there's a way it kind of falls short in one or another. And where it falls short is RAG in itself will not know when it is retrieving outdated, biased, and even irrelevant sources. We had a discussion last month. There's a certain AI special interest group community that I moderate, and a certain person, a certain member in that community, was commenting on the release. I think Grok was released last month, and a higher version. Was it? I think Grok 4, and people are saying it is too unfiltered. I don't know that I don't interact a lot with the Grok, but I believe it is very useful. But you really can, for those Grok fanatics, you can let us know even in the chat how you feel and how it does work. But she was talking about how it was kind of tuned to be too politically incorrect, if I can say. And it was answering things in different ways that a typical LLM wouldn't. Then on the other side, you already know YouTube started demonetizing low effort AI generated no face videos on their platform. And she was trying to show these two stark contrasts in terms of what it comes to AI ethics and the guardrails around them. But I had a kind of a different opinion to what she had shared, because as much as she was sharing that we should take responsibility, ethics should not stand in the way of, it should not be seen that ethics is standing in the way of fast innovation. But the thing is that I commented on and I shared on that platform, I said, there's a reason why when you go to the restaurant and you have a fork and a knife, you use it for eating and you don't use it to stab people in that hotel. Not because they are blunt, but because it's not who you are. And the same way we have an LLM or any kind of AI system, whichever kind of technology it is using, is not inherently in itself, but it is actually projecting what the world is all about. And if you are to change things in terms of even how we leverage these systems, it would definitely be important to start by looking at our own society. The same way a child will always be as good or as bad as the society he or she has been brought up on. This baby called AI, I always say right now, the best time to make AI work for us is right now when it's a baby, because when it becomes an adult, for as in a quote in quotes, then it will be very hard to change its behavior the same way you cannot change behavior of adults or change what their deeply seated belief systems. The other thing is when it falls short. I hope you also can't wait to hear your story on the next discussion prompt. RAG requires clean, structured, and well-indexed data. You saw, I think, when I was sharing it, just that I don't want to go back up. When I showed you the diagram, I show you A, B, C, D of steps before whatever is coming from the RAG to be stored in the vector database. That becomes very important when you're looking at these aspects around RAG. Then remember that the retrieval quality will also heavily impact the output. You might be having very good like aspects stored in the vector database, but what are the mechanisms for retrieving it and augmenting it before the output is provided as a response to the user? That also plays a huge part. And as you can see, finally, that it is not ideal for anything that is creative and deeply contextual reasoning tasks. So if it is in a very particular context and it requires reasoning, or since requires a bit of randomness and creativity, then RAG is not the way to go. That means that there are different other ideal solutions that are not supposed to be RAG in the first place. That is a good prompt for us to get to our next question. And please jump onto Slido, and you want to hear from you. Same link, same place that you're there. For those who have just joined us, I think I can share that link again. That is the link on the Slido. The joining details are on the side. The passcode is NSKRAG. And we are asking a question, and they really want to know, especially if there's any one of us who can come off mute and tell us if they've ever encountered a time when a retrieval-based AI gave you very misleading or even low-quality answers. Anyone, I'd be happy to even get someone come off mute. Miriam Jacob, you're saying yes. Maybe don't just say yes. You can maybe share context. Maybe yes, there was this time when this and that and that. Yes, low quality answer. Okay. I can see M. Anyone who can come off mute and tell us. Yeah, so it gives an error and even no response from the LLM as well. Sometimes, even when you're dealing with RAG and you maybe attached particular document or something, then it actually doesn't even maybe reference it, or as you said, the retrieval quality, or it actually kind of confuses the LLM, if I can say. Hadil, you're saying you've seen retrieval-based AI give you outdated or shallow answers, especially when sources were unreliable or the topic needed deeper reasoning. It even sometimes just repeats popular content even without some form of context. And that is sometimes what actually happens. For example, let's imagine we all make, let's say, something trend on the internet. And then the AI does a search using its search tool and uses that and augments that into its response and provides it out as factual output. Let's say maybe it kind of starts trending that that World War III or four? Three. World War III has started on the 1st of August 2025. And then the model or the platform searches over the internet and starts telling people World War III started on the 1st of August 2025. God forbid we don't want that. That becomes a big issue, right? How are there certain checks and balances just to make sure that even if something is posted out and shared out, even on official website or platforms, it doesn't come out as the gospel truth from an AI response. We have also hallucinations that deviate from the question. Rosanyang, you're telling us that. Yes. And yes, I can see that, Jacob, you're saying that it repeats a trending topic from time to time. I'd like to get any brave souls to come off mute. I feel I've spoken for quite a while. I don't know, Jacob Onyango, could you maybe come off mute and let us know what kind of thing that, if you've ever seen that or how it went out for you? I don't know if you are in a position to unmute. Okay. As we wait for you, Hadil, I don't know, Hadil, you're on the call, right? Be happy to hear from you in terms of that particular context. Yes, you've told us and it's there and it's general. Maybe you can tell us or paint a deeper context on how the retrieval-based AI did that for you. Hope you're in a position to unmute. Okay, as you come back, I'll make sure
Sorry,
yes,
Kevin.
yes, Jacob, yes.
Yeah, sorry, my dunia had the issues, but I can't remember the exact topic. But several times when I've tried uh, searching on ChatGPT, I've noted most of the time it gives you what is trending.
I'm muted. Yes, like whatever is happening on the news or what is happening on that particular aspect,
Yeah, yes,
often than
yes,
not.
yes, 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 exactly.
I don't know whether I can simulate that right now. It's just that I didn't plan that out. Let me open ChatGPT on my laptop here. And we see whether we can simulate that live. Okay, let me just maximize ready when you are. Okay, what should I put here? Tell me what can I put? Can you first of all see the ChatGPT? Just confirm for me. Can see it, right? Okay, good. Thank you, Chala. So let's say I ask it, let me see, first of all, the tools. Okay, but I think ChatGPT, can it allow you not to allow it to search? Or okay, I know it's going to do a RAG or something, but I can ask it something like, Okay, let me see what can I do. That will actually trigger a RAG or a Retrieval Augmented Generation example. Okay, I don't want it. It's going to be captured under my profile, but it's okay. What I can say is, should I do factual information or should I ask it to do something that is deeply reasoning? Okay, let me do a deep reasoning kind of a thing. Philosophical argument. Sanctity of life. Here are the steps you will take. Provide the argument. Make sure quote sources. You quote your sources, all your sources, and don't be shallow, and ensure it is convincing, and also references popular references great philosophers. Okay, let's see what's going to come up there. So define the core concepts, determine the philosophical lens. Is it deontological or metaphysical approach? Then I'll build the argument, then I'll quote and reference some of the key philosophers. Then now this is my final argument. All human beings possess what. Premise 2, moral worth is not contingent. To violate life is to violate moral law. Then philosophical support. Then one is to harm another. Locke wrote in 2 treatises of government. All these end is a conclusion. Here are the links to these sources. A early modern text. I'm being told that the Stanford Encyclopedia for Immanuel Kant, Plato, okay. So it has tried its best to provide some things here, but what I'm getting out of all this is it feels textbook-like. So what I'll do, I'll copy that. Let me see if I can go to, I'll go to cloud and see whether I'll get a kind of a human kind of a thing, because it feels so a lot of pointers and that kind of a thing. Again, as you already see, it's very shallow. Yes, the RAG is there. We can see it is already looking at what it has shared, and it is saying you can get this link. Definitely, I can click on the links and confirm whether it's working or not. Okay, so let's ask the same question here. So defining the concept, examining foundational, addressing counter-arguments, synthesizing a comprehensive position. Okay, you can see it's doing a much better job. Then it starts defining what sanctity of life is all about. The Kantian foundation, that is dignity and categorical, natural law, Levian's And conclusion, still regenerating. Okay. Are resources to this. Sorry about that. My network had to just remind me that I'm still in Africa, right? You'll have to switch to providers just to make sure that you're good. Anyways, I can see time is really flying, and yes, really appreciate what you've done. So, as you can see, this is what I was doing. What was I? What was I on? So you can see I was just about to tell it to send me the links, but I can see it did a better. Just let me refresh this. Did a much better job compared to what it compared to ChatGPT, right? But anyways, you can try test it out on some things. But yeah, you can see accuracy through evidence. That is what RAG can do. It can give you some ground. And that is why in case a response doesn't come with what evidence to support that response, it's important to confirm and check that out. Again, you can provide those sources. Then the other thing is users can verify where the information originated. For example, you saw that response from ChatGPT. It was able to show me the links or where all that information was. We already said earlier that is in finance, law, and healthcare. Always use this quote like I always tell someone I'll trust it more, I'll trust the AI more because I can see where it got the answer. And that is why some platforms are much better than others when it comes to providing where the evidence. And talking about evidence, maybe you can get it on the Slido. What's one local data set that could make a RAG system useful in particular region? Is it like in the West Africa region? I know we have people from this bootcamp who are like French speakers, and there's that need for maybe, let's say, inclusivity and equity and accessibility. How much of the different learning content or even job opportunities that are geared towards francophone, right? or many other different things that come into play. Do you have a local data set? And when I say local, I don't mean like in your village, I don't mean in your country. I mean something very specific to that. It can even be local to your organization, or it can be local to your county, or it can be local to your region, East Africa, West Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, all that kind of a thing. Kalim, you're saying it depends on the use cases, but do you have that one? For example, for my case, I can say I saw we were actually doing we were participating as a team for a particular hackathon, and you are following up on different data sets available for different things. And we found out it was about something around climate change and things around, yes, it was a climate change hackathon and AI hackathon. And you're trying to look at some of the platforms that are out there. I didn't even know that there's a data set for all the endangered species or endangered animals in Africa and even in the world. I didn't even know that there's a whole dashboard that is based on data sets on carbon credit and things around carbon emission per country in Africa. Those are some of the data sets. They're local data sets, but definitely they can help in terms of making RAG systems much, much better. What are your thoughts? Is there any? And when I see very few responses, that means that definitely there are very few data sets that are out there. I can see Samson is saying university course catalogs and departmental. Yes, definitely. They play a huge part. And more often than not, those people don't have time to read them as 300-page PDFs or or open pages on websites. People want to just prompt it and find it. So if you provide them an interface in form of a chatbot, and that chatbot is doing all the work of sifting through and going to those sites, then definitely. Hadil, you're saying one useful local dataset for RAG that is useful to read Tunisia is the Tunisian Government Services and Procedures dataset. Nice. These are a collection of all the administrative procedures. That is how to get a national ID, some residence card, business registration in Arabic and French, and from local municipalities and ministries. And that can be amazing. Can you imagine if such a dataset has now been given as an open source dataset? And from what you're getting out of that, you're able to build very localized solutions that are very inclusive. I love the fact that it has Arabic and French and all these different kind of things. Again, yes, clinic and hospital or hospital guidelines in Kenya, because there's nothing as frustrating as you're there, somebody's in a critical condition, then you realize then you realize sorry then you realize that this kind of a thing is like has already changed. And Fidel, you're talking about the sensors or something, the sensors on Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, and then you have the FAO data sets. And funny thing, let me tell you something. When I was doing a bit of a research, some desk research, I came to realize that there are different organizations and agencies in our countries that continue to churn out awesome data and reports. But the only thing they do is they do some bit of low-key launches and upload them on their website, if they do actually upload them, and it just ends at that. But what happens when, yes, like the FAO datasets, if you're able to see all these datasets come into play and help in terms of making RAG systems useful in the region, that is what we actually need. And the question now comes into play. That is why you're doing this RAG bootcamp. There could be so many different technologies that NSK.ai could have could have started on an AI bootcamp. But why RAG? You should ask yourself, why RAG? Of all the different technologies and everything that is there in AI, why RAG? Because RAG has the opportunity of changing or transforming how we can leverage AI systems. And I know sometimes we even have a lot of arguments with people. Should we build from scratch our own open AI, whatever? Or should we not reinvent the wheel, but make sure these systems are useful for us in our particular regions? That is the food for thought. I can see local law and order for tourists visiting different countries. Amazing. I don't know, is there any country that is doing that, Eman? To be happy to know. And I love that from Tunisia. I don't know whether other governments in Africa have done what Tunisia has done, but that is just pretty out of this world. And the other thing that I attended early in the year in January, I attended an AI breakfast. Because this year I'm very intentional about AI. And we had this amazing organization that had done what we call a soil health kind of an innovation. And they said that they had to go and collect the data set from scratch, and it costed them. Then somebody asked, there's a big elephant of a question in the room. Would you open source that data set on soil health in Kenya? And it will help people be able to know what crops to grow in which kind of soil to get the best yields, and using an AI platform because they now have the data set. And the person wasn't able to answer because it costs a lot of money to build some of these data sets, or even clean out and make some things work. Yes, university journals for thesis. A lot people are churning out postgraduate theses and dissertations, but they're just being uploaded in a repository somewhere and just being left there. Yeah, those are the things that can play. I can say, oh, sorry, in Kenya we have 40 different tribes with rich diversity. I can see what is here. Of language and dialects, having a government information translated into these languages would make the RAG system improve community understanding. Yes, that is true, Mwad, because we are living in a country where I think even not even in a country, but in an age where we are not dealing with the issue around lack of information. We are in the age where we are thinking about how best can we use the information, because gone are the days when we had some people who had the advantage of they have the knowledge and others don't have it. Right now there's an influx of knowledge and information, but people just don't know how to use it. And definitely now that is where data set transforming and that retrieving data from raw data sources into data sets, that can also be something that us in Africa can be able to say, before this AI baby becomes an adult, let's make sure we train it in the best way possible. Okay. Yeah, so there's this thing, because of time, I'll ask you go check it out, africanlanguageslab.com. You can go and sign up. And in the context of Africa, how can we design RAG for African languages? Because that is what Mwad has just told us. And also the realities, apart from the languages, because we just talk about languages, what about the realities that face us? For example, like most people are using low, low features phones. Their phones are not Snapdragon powered CPUs and all these different things. If anything, they're just using very basic CPUs and memory. Can they really handle like the way Samsung can do a Galaxy AI? How can we move to this perspective? How can we get to a point where we can, instead of telling them, for you to leverage AI, you have to buy like, let's say how much, $1,000 or $2,000 phone? How can you now move AI and bring them from low resources and those things? Many African languages are underrepresented in the training data. Public and private knowledge often are not digitized. And the worst thing is, it's so sad that we are in an AI age and there are still some people who haven't, like, they will stick their heads in the sand and think that it's a wave that is going to pass. And they're still continuing to do things manually, printing out things and signing documents manually and all these different kind of things. But there's a big potential in terms of custom corpora. That is, if someone already shared local laws, agricultural guides, and even there's something else, indigenous knowledge. Trust me, if I am a millennial and I didn't get the opportunity to sit on my grandfather's lap, what is happening to the digital natives? They don't have like access to the indigenous knowledge, and it is getting worse from time to time, and very few communities are able to pass down their indigenous knowledge to the next generation. And what are the implications for us as Africans? What happens? Do we now leave our African native culture and uptake all these cultures from other continents simply because that is what is being perpetuated in these AI systems? So all these things are examples: translate and retrieve, health bots trained on World Health Organization and local ministry data. Again, and also education assistance that can help in terms of having regional syllabi. I hear from my friends here in Kenya, and some of them say they learned alphabets and numbers in their local language back then when they were being brought up. And I was like, wow, that was very interesting. I didn't get that privilege, but I could imagine if my teacher was teaching me in my local language, in my mother tongue, the syllabi for English and Swahili, and I built on that and continued with it. What can be the opportunity around that? And as you can see, this is what I was talking about. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. So we have the African Languages Lab. This is how it looks. You can just click on check your playground. And if you go there, you'll see the All Labs portal, and you can get your API key kind of a source. And then if you do that, definitely delete my key after that, even if you've seen it. And maybe I can ask it to translate. For example, I can see it's Tuei and Swahili. Maybe I can do Swahili, and then I can take, I don't know if I can take something from ChatGPT that was shared with us. For example, this one, let me copy the prompt that I shared and I put it in Swahili. Let me see what's going to get it. Then I can say translate that to Swahili. If there's a problem with your translation request, I don't know what happened. Maybe was I logged out because I did it earlier? Okay, I need to put in my translation, my token. This is the token. And I think I need it to do this again. Let's see if we can translate it, or if it's going to translate. I don't know, it's not translating. But again, you can try test it out. I don't know whether it can do things. Can I do how are you? Or my tokens are so many. Okay, don't know whether maybe it's not working. But they have this kind of a thing, and I saw it looks kind of very interesting in terms of what they do. Anyways, for the sake of brevity, before things go haywire on me, I can do this. I can go to the dashboard. I can just delete this before things go haywire on me. Okay, so let's go back onto this. We have some question here, but I'll let you think about it. I'll not wait for you to answer it. But okay, I think this is very important for us. Think about it, and if you're on Slido, please jump onto that as we wrap it up. Is who should be responsible for making African data available for different AI, whether it's Anthropic, whether it's to Anthropic or to OpenAI or to Meta, whoever, or even who should be responsible? Is it you? Is it me? Is it governments? Who should be responsible? And how do we ensure that as we make that African data available, it's not benefiting a subset of people? It is benefiting all the people across, regardless of whether they're coming from North Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, West Africa, East Africa, Southern Africa. It benefits each and every one of us. how can we do this? Because these are very important questions. You're talking about real world. What you're saying, definitely us, including our government and local communities. Yes, the buck stops on us. And that is why when NSK.ai came to me and tell me, Kevin, we're having this amazing bootcamp and we'd like to make it available to your AWS AIML community, my answer was a resounding yes. Why? Because the power is in our hands. We are not like, I saw an article the other day and people are saying, I think Kenya was in the top 3 of ChatGPT usage. I don't know whether that is true or how that data, I didn't check it because it's just a news article. I didn't like kind of verify it. But the truth of the matter is it paints a picture where we are heavily reliant on AI in Africa. But where are we moving? How are we moving? And Hadili was saying the responsibility of governments, local universities, research institutions, African tech startups should lead data collection. I agree with you. There's no need of us having these siloed hackathon initiatives, AI this, AI that, AI conferences. And yet, we're not doing the real work of data collection or looking at how can we, even understanding the concept around RAG and how best we can make these systems. Because if you've been given a model and you've been availed even API, and even some of you even have credits to access these APIs, I mean to these model APIs, but are they really useful if you don't have the correct local data set for you to leverage these foundational models? And it's a painful thing to realize that people are focusing on all the wrong things. People are focusing on developing AI applications right there at the top and forgetting that you also need to start here from the bottom and build the data. So that is it on that. So where do we go from here? Because beyond the tech and you're getting towards equity, this is very important in terms of literacy. Let's have some mobile-friendly RAG systems. As I've said earlier, RAG systems should not live in laptops and high-end data centers. They can be easily accessible even from mobile phones when it comes to that. When it comes to agriculture, localized knowledge. There's a time when we knew with these climate change things, it's very hard to know when it's going to rain, when you're going to plant, when you're going to harvest, and all these different kind of things. But we had the localized knowledge has always been that important, and it can help because I usually say there's one thing that will never fail to happen in every day. Human beings will always eat for them to stay alive. So it means that even if you're going to have AI, whatever AI, you'll need to eat at the end of the day. Right now, after this, I'm going to go take my dinner. But how that dinner got, like what the farmer did for me to get that, if I don't care about that, then it's going to be a big issue. The other thing is native language education. How can we make educational content more accessible in our local language? Because if we do that, we still maintain our culture. Because they usually say that if you want to mess up with a man's culture, start with their language. Start making them different. Like I should even be able to start and organize a webinar in if you talk about in Bantu Swahili, a full webinar on things around AI, and we are talking about it in Swahili all the way through from start until the end. If it's somewhere else, if it's in Tunisia, if it's in Morocco, if it's in Egypt, all the local dialects there, if it's in Ghana or Senegal or Cameroon, Nigeria, South Africa, whichever, because I love the way this bootcamp is set up, so that you're having people from all across the different continents and you're in teams, you're working in from and understanding it and nuances and the different cultures. That means that we now need to make this a revolution and even go beyond the boot camp. And since for myself, for example, the fact that I'm part of I'm a user group leader, I definitely enjoy getting I get some different resources from these particular different cloud providers like AWS themselves. That definitely tells you that I should not just have them not to benefit or to benefit a siloed initiative like an just one-time event. How can use it? How can we use these resources to build a revolution of solutions that are coming out of this continent? Okay. So as you've said, RAG is the bridge, but it is not the destination. It is the bridge between human and AI collaboration. And as you're seeing here, it requires for us to think about the design, the way the bootcamp is structured. And we're having this discussion because we're talking about RAG for the real world. We need a thoughtful design, inclusive data, and building trust all along the way. And you can specialize all on things around how can we make AI more fact grounded and context aware. We also need to get to a point where human alignment is important, not just model alignment. It's not about using this model over this model and all these, but also align AI to the human. We also look at it, as you've said, drug does not replace human problem solving. We are having a discussion about something called atrophy. I don't know whether you know about atrophy. You can go check it out, or you can prompt your favorite LLM and ask about atrophy. So what is happening right now? People are using AI. They're so over reliant on AI. There was a certain last week I was delivering a training, and I gave people lab guides to go and use it to do a particular lab. It was a lab. It was a physical lab, and you're dealing things with physical machines like firewalls and routers. But it was so sad when I was moving around in the groups. I've given you a guide. I've given you the documentation. But someone is asking ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is giving all the wrong commands and all the different things, and they're trying to run and they're not working, and they're telling me, Mwalimu, this is not working. Or the trainer, if Mwalimu is just Swahili for trainer, the trainer, please, this is not working. Then ask you, where did you get this? Then they're showing me the response from a prompt. But we ask ourselves, can we be able to get to human problem solving where we now augment? I'll be happy. Now, doesn't mean that AI is bad, but I'll be happy if someone says, I attached the lab guide to Notebook LM or whichever kind of platform, and I was able to get these commands here. And I was able to see that now RAG is playing a huge part in terms of helping me solving problems and asking better questions. Because the most important thing right now, you can see the ability for people to ask good questions, great questions, is getting lower and lower every day. The ability of people to be able to communicate effectively is getting lower by the day. But we are also able to make these things out. As we wrap up, definitely be happy to get your end of session survey as we open it up. As you said, this was a discussion, no Q&A at the end. And we'll be happy for you to log in and share with us whatever we can do to make this better. Please start us off. Tell us how satisfied you are on a rate of 1 to 10. You're going to see it right here. I know we might have already gone a bit over time, but I believe the discussion has been quite impactful. Thanks so much for all of you who participated. Jacob, Hadil, Rose, if I can remember the names, Muad, all of you have done an amazing job in making this very interactive. Please do share with us your feedback. I'll leave it on for you to do it. I know some of you might not be wanting to see. Please, I'll leave the survey on, and feel free to answer all these questions. Hopefully it's going to be on there. And I'd like to thank you for joining us. If you want to connect with me, I'm on different platforms, from LinkedIn to YouTube to, okay, I don't know the last time I was on TikTok, but definitely you can just check my prairie there. I'm also on Medium. Just scan the QR code, or you can leverage that link at the bottom. My prairie card is there, and let's connect. Let's connect, especially on LinkedIn. Let's also connect there. And I think with that, unless there's anything, I hope you really enjoyed the session. Okay, Mr. Q&A. I'm being told, what do you mean the RAG is there? You mean like the models built in? Philip, could you be in a position to unmute and ask your question? Sorry, I missed it earlier. You mean the models built in RAG?
I am not sure. I'm not sure participants can unmute. Let me see if I can give him permission to do that.
Oh,
Kevin,
okay. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So I meant when you're doing the demo
Oh, yeah.
and you're doing the prompts and you're trying to bring about how the LLM on its own hallucinates, and
Yeah.
you have to kind of tweak it and tweak it and tweak it for you to try and get some accurate information. So I was asking, in the context of RAG, because these LLMs probably they scrape through the internet and data, some form of data, definitely like a data set could be the wholesome data set of the internet, or maybe a specific niche data set, or maybe okay, because they also have like initial, like they also have like I assume they have like prompts behind them, right? That guide them on how to kind of respond to prompts from other users. So I was asking, is there like is it like a RAG based system, or when you are demonstrating between cloud and GPT, or we'd only be in a position to make that comparison if we had given them like a specific data source for both of them, and then compare them based on that specific data set, rather than just freestyling and prompting it without giving it like a data source.
Yeah. Okay, I love that. I love that. That's a very important question. And what I can say is RAG doesn't mean that you are the only one who is giving it a data source, because you already know how an LLM works. An LLM, for it to be built, it goes through the model building process from end to end, from the data collection or data cleaning, then it is trained on that. As you already know how AI works, is once an AI mod has been, once a model has been trained, you cannot start like changing its learning on the fly. It has been trained and it has learned about that, and that is it. And what happens when an AI has such enabled, then it has some combination of different systems, and one of them is RAG in that place, because the LLM will be augmenting whatever the response is coming from, how it was trained, from the training data and how it was validated, together with the new information that is coming from the internet, right? So, and then again, there's also an opportunity for you to upload data, for example, is a PDF or a catalog for your course, for your university, and then that can also be a form of RAG. So as you can see, the tool, for example, ChatGPT's search feature, or any LLM model that has the ability to do search, online search, in one or another, also leverages a system of retrieval augmented, because, and that is why we were saying retrieval quality is very important. Again, the other thing is, because what is a search? What is an online search, Philip? Isn't that retrieval? Isn't that you are retrieving something from the internet, or how do you look at it?
Yeah, it is.
Exactly, right? It's just that we are not the ones actually providing it, but it is actually scraping it. Yeah, thank you so much for that. And that is why we are doing this boot camp, and I'm so happy. Thank you so much, NSK.ai team. I know you're doing an amazing job bringing all these amazing people to these sessions, including myself. And for the participants of this boot camp, please do it till the very end. And you never know, because people are watching. I am watching, and I can't wait for you to get to the very end and build amazing solutions. And I think with that, I'll take it back to Fianya. I know we've really gone.
No, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool, Kevin.
Yeah,
It's good. Like I was in and out because of like network and my battery and a lot more, but I'm happy I could stay to the end and at least say thank you. Thank you, Kevin. This, for the parts that I could attend, I think more than half of it were really insights. I'm probably going to watch the recording again because I learned lots of things from you. So I would also say I think people won't understand. They might think that, oh, like the bootcamp people. I honestly feel like I've learned the most more than anyone. It might be a weird answer, but honestly, it's the truth because I'm amazed the questions that people are asking, the speakers that are coming to speak. I must thank you all. It's really fantastic. We never imagined that this bootcamp was going to get this big. I would be very honest with you. We never imagined to get this big. Many more things are still happening, and it feels like a dream. Honestly, I still don't believe that this is happening. But like Kevin said, thank you all for coming. Kevin, once again, thank you. Something to even mention, we reached out to many communities for them to handle discussion sessions or certain sessions just so that we have it's a community bootcamp. And Kevin, you're the only one that reached out, and it's something I'd like to say thank you for that, because again, it's not easy, to teach, to have to, give back, and I really respect you for that, and thank you for coming. Those of you who have been on the call, yeah. So as we said, so we go again next week. We continue same time, Tuesday next week. Yeah, so we're getting some people from Langchain soon. So that's a surprise for next week. We have 2 people from Langchain actually coming. So that's heads up for everyone. So I think this is bye from all of us. Thank you, Kevin.
Trust
Thank you,
me,
everyone.
I watch the recordings because I sometimes I don't have time, but I look at the profile of the people you are attracting, and I'm like, wow, I'm just amazed. This bootcamp, as you have said, is just something else.
No,
I know
Kevin,
even
don't
in the
worry.
next iteration, the way KNN clustering works is just the rough edges are going to smoothen, and trust
Yes.
me, other people will be like, please bring that bootcamp to us or bring it to this
Ke-
particular country or something. Yeah.
Kevin, don't worry. We're going to talk after. There's so much that's happened. I'll definitely tell you the rest after. No problem. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely night, Kevin. Have a lovely night, everyone.
Good
Nice.
night. Good
Bye.
night.
Yeah.